gentlemen, my name is...
It doesn't matter what your name is. My belly's just a little big, my hand is just a little big, but brother, I am bad and they know I'm bad. Loaded up with alcohol, more specifically vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer. It's about the 14 years it took me to go from undesirable to un-goddamn deniable. Give me what I want.
3 ain't enough now, I need 5. Welcome in Jim, Ryan, Matt, Tim, and intern Mark.
And after tonight, none of you in this ring will ever be the same again.
Oh my goodness, what am I do? There's a 1, there's a 2. Oh!
Wow.
Wow, indeed. Welcome to 3 Count Thursday. New month, same show. Not the full cast of characters this week, but it is Thursday, July the 2nd, 2020. We're the podcast of the millennium. We got tons to talk about this week, including reminiscing on history and the Big Dog Speaks Out and much more. But first, go to 3countthursday.com, where you will find everything 3 Count related. You will find all of our social media links, our YouTube page, our merchandise over at whatamaneuver.net. Tim's not here.
What a maneuver.
Yeah, that one. Our Patreon page, our home network, of course, ngscsports.com. We stream daily at leebsports.com. Ryan, that would be...
Fuck it, we'll do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Do it live!
Oh, you have that?
I have it now. I told
Are
you I was
kidding me?
I told you I was busy this week. I got some new sound drops and everything.
I am tickled pink. It's leeibsports.com.
There we go.
Thing sucks!
But yeah, you can check that out. Make sure you're subscribed to our podcast feed, both the full show feed as well as the new hot tag feed, where you'll find our best segments of the week over there. We got Ryan and Matt. Maybe Mark's going to join us. Mark's actually been at Hershey Park. So he may not be with us. I don't know if Tim's going to jump on, but Ryan,
How you doing?
Man, I'm glad to be here. I didn't know if we were going to be able to make it today. Little stumbled out of the gate. Had some technical difficulties, but I'm glad to be here. It's Thursday night. What else would I want to be doing, right? I mean,
exactly.
Swimming, hanging out with family, eating, sleeping, all of those things come to mind. But here we are. We're podcasting. We're going to talk about the grappling that we saw this past 7 days ish.
Talk about them graps.
Talking about the graps.
And Matt,
How you doing?
Doing well. Short work week, so off for the next 3 days. Like to start that off by podcasting. A little disappointed that Ryan has like 18 things that he'd rather be doing apparently, but
yeah, it's a little strange, Ryan.
It is what it is.
It was 4 from the top of my head. If I thought about it, I could hit 20.
20, huh?
22.
Oh,
The Undertaker, man. That number would never be.
At home with me.
all right, but if you are following along with us on the live video, give it a like and a share, please. We'd appreciate that. Get as many people in here as possible. Devin's in here with us. Nikki in here with us as well. So thank you for joining us here on a Thursday night. Yeah, I want to debut a new segment here, and it's something I'm going to try to do every week. And it was inspired by Tim, so I'm a little bummed out that Tim's not with us. But there was something. One of the topics last week, Tim said on this day, and I could not get this out of my head.
On this day.
for like days after the fact. All I could keep hearing in my head.
On this day.
So I'm like, why don't we do a weekly segment about things that occurred? Oh, damn it, I moved the screen. On this day. So on this day in 1957, of course, you
Wait, didn't you have a sound clip to say that for you, Jim?
On this day.
In 1957, as you can see above my head, future WWE Hall of Famer Bret the Hitman Hart was born. The Bret Hitman Hart celebrating a birthday today. Oh, thanks, guys. Wow, what dickheads. I give you guys a for that one. We got a new one. We got a Tim joining us here. That not our Tim, a new Tim joining us in the chat. Hi, Tim. Welcome in. This is his first time here. Devin says
Hey, it's the better Tim.
You never have enough Tims. That's what I always say.
There you go. And then also
On this day.
1991, one of the biggest stories of the decade, NWA and WCW/WCW World Champion Ric Flair quits or was fired by WCW over creative differences. He was scheduled to face Lex Luger at the Great American Bash pay-per-view 8 days later. They were in the midst of a contract negotiation when Jim Herd told Flair wanted him to drop the title to Luger. Flair wanted to work out a new contract first. Herd then said he wanted Flair to drop the title to Barry Windham before the Bash and not appear at the pay-per-view. Herd then changed his mind again. The belt, which was the big gold belt, was a holdover from the NWA days. Flair still had a $25,000 deposit down that he had given as a security while holding the belt. Flair said if Herd wanted it, he wanted his deposit back. A dispute occurred. And then Flair left for the WWF with the belt still in his possession. WWE stripped him of their title and made a new belt to give to the winner of the hastily arranged Luger-Wyndham match at the Bash. Of course, when Flair debuted in the WWF, Bobby Heenan used the line "ice cream and horse manure" promo where he announced that Flair was coming to the company and compared Flair to Hogan. And then the final from 2001, the long-awaited debut of the new WCW on Raw from Tacoma, Washington was a flop. They were given the final hour of the July 2nd Raw. Buff Bagwell and Booker T had what many fans felt was the worst main event in the history of the program. The match was embarrassing and chance of boring, and this match sucks. Were clearly heard throughout. A WWF source said Vince McMahon, quote, absolutely hated the whole WCW segment. That same night, Billy Kidman defeated Shane Helms for the WCW Cruiserweight title. It was the first time a WCW title would change hands on a WWF show. So that, my friends, was the very first. And it will not be the last. Going to make that a weekly segment. Those items were pulled from the PW Insider site.
You know, Matt, I really feel bad for Charles Robinson, Little H, and Scotty Too Hotty, who also share a birthday today, but we're only going to recognize Bret the Hitman Hart, or as I like to call him, put an S in front of it and you understand his name.
Who the hell is this?
It's really a shame. I'm a big Scotty Too Hotty fan.
I am too. I mean, but you know.
Who is it?
You can only have so many items.
On this day.
I mean, it's pretty easy to do like birthday shout outs, like just throw them all in there.
But I mean, that's kind of, you know, birthday is always kind of Ryan's thing. So, you know, but I mean, if Bret Hart's my guy, Bret Hart's my guy.
Oh, is that what it was? Is that what? Okay, I got it. My bad.
That's why I hit.
You're a Bret Hart guy.
What's that?
I didn't know that you were a Bret Hart guy.
You didn't?
No.
Wow. I guess
I didn't know that
every
either.
day.
And I guess I should probably talk about him more, really, as I should probably, because I probably don't talk about Bret Hart enough.
Lord knows he can't talk for himself anymore. Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Wow.
When did your Bret Hart fandom start? Was it when you fell in love with the color pink, or was there something else that made it?
It was all around the same time. It was all around.
It was okay.
Yeah.
I got it.
Never seen you rock the Bret Hart sunglasses in all of your years of fandom.
You know, the funny thing is, I actually found my old pair of Bret sunglasses when I was going through boxes the other month. They the foam around them is like completely degraded, and Funny thing, those things weren't exactly made for a cranium my size. A little snug. I put them on and immediately regretted the decision.
Ah!
I was like, "Oh my god, this is too tight. This is too tight."
Tomorrow is your boy Joey Janela's birthday, so I just want to put that on your mind, Jim.
Okay.
So you can set aside maybe 15 minutes, whatever, for our show tonight to wish Joey Janela a happy birthday for tomorrow.
Happy birthday, Joey Janela.
Oh, it was quick.
Tomorrow it's his birthday.
Tomorrow, mañana, yes.
Mañana, yeah, tomorrow. So that's the new segment. I thought I was, like I said, all Tim's fault. If it doesn't work,
a damn good segment, Jim. You did good.
Well, thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to 3 Count Thursday, folks.
We're gonna do it. That's all we're gonna do.
It's on this day going to be one of our new segments for the hot tag.
Yeah, I'll throw it up on the hot tag.
You would.
Sure, it will make the hot tag every week.
Now,
but this week.
How often will you just find a random piece of Bret Hart history to throw up on this day?
I guess people are gonna have to tune in every week to find out now, aren't they?
I guess so. On this day in 2016, Bret suffered the first of 7.
Oh, come on! No.
Matt with the low blows tonight, man. Wow.
I didn't finish the sentence. I mean, he could have suffered many of things.
Jesus. Ridiculous. That's a drop I need to find.
You really need to get that one
from Dirty Work. I need to find that one. All right, let's jump into it. We did have the
3 count question of the week,
and it was related to a post the other day that I saw on the WWE on Fox page. It was your WWE Mount Rushmore. So I decided to throw it out there and see some of the 3 count fans Mount Rushmores, as well as I figure we'd get ours here as well. So Ryan, why don't you kick us off here and let us know who. Now, do we want to go one at a time, or do you want to give your full, and then we'll just we'll go around?
Well, because I didn't plan for this, because I'm not a good co-host.
Clearly.
I will come up with the 4 right off the top of my head.
Okay.
Is it the WWE Mount Rushmore or the wrestling Mount Rushmore?
The official
the 3 count question of the week
says, who is your WWE Mount Rushmore? So I would include /WWF because it is the same company, but
when we're quantifying this, because I did put my 4 of my 4 favorite wrestlers, but is that what we're doing, or are we saying the 4 wrestlers most important to WWF?
It was this kind of however you want to interpret it. If you want to make it your personal favorite Mount Rushmore, or if you want to take it as, the 4 most important superstars to the history of the WWE.
Well, since I already put my 4 favorite on the Facebook page, when I answer this time, I will do importance.
Perfect.
Love
so
it.
Ryan, let's
my all-time favorite wrestler, first of all, the Patriot. It's got to be up there. No, my Mount Rushmore would be probably those who impacted the business the most in professional wrestling. So my Mount Rushmore would be built as they were making their impact. This is how I would think of it. It would be Hulk Hogan and Stone Cold Steve Austin, and The Rock and The Undertaker would be my 4 faces of Mount Rushmore.
Okay. Matt, who is your Mount Rushmore?
In terms of importance to the industry, it would be pretty similar to what Ryan did. So Hulk Hogan is on there, Stone Cold is on there, The Rock is on there, and I'm only replacing Undertaker with Cena just because it's that new era, and Cena's importance just because you have 3 people from the early 90s through the Attitude already, if you're keeping Undertaker on there. So
Yeah, mine. And I kind of interpret it as the most important to the company. So mine, and it's right there: Hogan, Rock, Austin, Cena. I had a hard time. Cena and Andre were kind of because I'm like, if you don't have Andre, I don't think Hulkamania probably means as much because you don't get WrestleMania 3, so you don't get Hulkamania, and then but it's like, I do still think that Hogan, just based on because when he won his first title from the Iron Sheik, there was a level of importance to him, and there was he was very popular. So I thought maybe we could have gotten Hulkamania without without Andre. And then, Austin and Rock, they just kind of go together, through the Attitude Era. And, I don't know if WWE wins the war and is still WWE without both of those. I mean, maybe if you would have had just Austin or maybe just The Rock, but I think both of them are so critical. And then, John Cena speaks for himself. I mean, the last 15, almost 20 years of through John Cena is, I mean, it's immeasurable. And then, so I bumped Andre for Cena. Now, Matt, you said you had posted your 4 like favorites. Ryan, I'm going to kind of put you on the spot too, but I'll go to Matt first, and then because I just wrote mine down in terms of like my favorites, and then just for fun, let's do our top 4 women as well to the WWE. So, Matt, why don't we go ahead with your top 4, like your Mount Rushmore for your favorites?
All right. And I do need to look it up because sometimes that changes for me. So Eddie, Shawn, and Triple H were for sure on there. And it's always going to be the 4th one that kind of fluctuates depending on mood, depending on like what I just watched. And while I'm like filling time as I scroll through Facebook to find where I actually posted that, I would also say that Vince would probably be someone that you can put on for importance, not just because he's the owner of the company, but the whole like heel owner.
Sure.
And being that type of like villain that wrestling really needed. And Austin was the other one I put on before. But Vince, I think like you can see that in any indie wrestling federation. Like every single indie fed at this point has like that heel, not just Jason the Perfect Owner, but like a lot of other companies as well just kind of bought into that just because it's so easy to do. And I think Vince kind of made that the norm for wrestling. So
I'm sorry, who did you say?
Huh?
What? Not just Jason the what? Who was that?
Jason the Perfect Owner Smith.
There's a long way for a fart joke, man.
It certainly did. I hope it gets back to him too.
But yeah, so it was. Otherwise, my answer was Guerrero, Michaels, Triple H, and then Stone Cold.
All right, very good. Nikki here in the comments said her Mount Rushmore: Rock, Stone Cold, Undertaker, HBK. And then Tim says the 3 count Mount Rushmore: Shannon Moore, Shane Helms, Evan Courageous, and Tank Abbott.
Hey, so I love it.
You're getting the Kobe taker from last week for that one. My top 4 in terms of favorites, and I mean, I guess I'm going to surprise you guys with this one. Bret Hart, number 1. I know it's surprising.
That's number 1, huh?
Yeah.
Woo! Happy birthday, Brad! Woo! Pop!
Undertaker, Triple H,
putting night at the home. Put him back to bed.
Jesus. Undertaker, Triple H, and Stone Cold round out my my top 4 favorites. Ryan, how about you?
Those are really good favorites. I think Matt made a great call. You don't have what we have today without Vince McMahon, so I think he would probably deserve And he probably deserves to be on the importance one more than some of the people that we said.
Yeah, I only thought of it, and it's funny. Like I only thought of it as performers, but you forget that Vince
What a performer
was
he
also
was.
a performer as well, and I mean he is a former ECW champion as well. So it's not even.
I mean, what is the Attitude Era without Vince? Like, what is Stone Cold Steve Austin if not Vince?
If not for Vince McMahon. It's a great call.
Yeah, it's a really good point. But Ryan, go ahead.
With I will not include Vince in mine. I did just go with like wrestlers. It would be Austin, Taker, Mick Foley, and the Ultimate Warrior. Oh, look at that, Jim!
I got a Patriotic Warrior shirt. My brother got me that.
You know what? When I think of the United States of America, I think of the Ultimate Warrior.
Ultimate Warrior.
That is the first name that comes to mind.
I mean, isn't Ultimate Warrior your like favorite wrestler of all time? Wasn't that
it would probably bounce between him and Austin of like my all-time favorites. And I, as a kid, like it was Warrior. Absolutely, growing up, the face paint, the tassels. I remember having like folders of Warrior like in school. Obviously, Austin was my teenage years. It was angsty, kind of angry. Give the finger to people, like that spoke a lot to me at that time too. So I don't know. It depends when you ask me, but it should probably Austin followed by Warrior real close. Yeah.
I mean, there were two different paths for high school. You were either like the angsty Austin giving the finger, or you were on the DX giving people the suck it sign. So
that's fair.
That's kind of where Ryan and I converged on the high school path. I was more on the DX side.
Jim, you were more the Warrior guy, taking off your clothes and running through the hallways and shaking the ropes, right?
100%. 100%. I got so much trouble for doing that, and I never learned my lesson.
Never.
Because we're just
every day at 2:15.
Up the one side of the middle school, and I would loop through the gym, and I'd come, always come back down. You start at the cafeteria, go up, and then once I'm really tired, I still have to go up like the other half of the school. And then I eventually, like after about like sixth period, I get around and start coming down then. Yeah, right. I was still fat and slow and out of shape back then. I mean, much better than
only when they had Stromboli days. That was the days you really morphed into Ultimate Warrior.
Did they have the Stromboli in middle school? I don't remember.
I don't know. Maybe not. It was definitely high school.
Definitely high school, because we used to haul out of the broadcasting room to make sure we got there in time.
That Boli was the shit, man. That was delicious.
So good. Apparently, it's no good anymore. Apparently, it's all it's like all healthified now.
Oh, thanks, Obama.
Yeah, it's all like whole wheat, like the crust, and it just come on. I'm sure the meat's not green anymore either. Like I do remember that about the Boli. Is the meat was kind of a greenish tint, but it was delicious.
It was all part of the game.
See, I got more up for the pizza boat day than Stromboli day.
Pizza boat was good. I did really enjoy though the pizza sticks. But the day, every so often, Stromboli day would fall the day after cheesesteak day. And if you were lucky enough, you would get the cheesesteak Stromboli.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway.
They're doing something on like the local community page on the Facebook where they're taking like popular foods from this area, like the Wilbur Bud and the Warwick School District peanut butter and marshmallow sandwiches.
Yes.
Made the list. That used to come in like the wax paper bag.
Yeah. I actually have the recipe for that somebody posted in that group years ago.
It's butter, isn't it?
It's peanut butter, marshmallow, and butter. Which, like, I'm sure at least two of those items are no longer allowed in schools.
I believe
peanut butter.
You're probably right.
I mean, during wrestling season, the fluffernutters were like the go-to item if you were trying to make weight. Like you eat 3 of those, you're gaining like 6 pounds. Easy.
Oh, I bet.
That's why I ate 3 of them.
Yeah, Ryan and I were trying to gain weight.
That's why we were doing it.
We definitely succeeded. And then after you drink or after you eat them, you always.
I'm gonna drink a big glass of milk.
because it's to get all that fluffernutter in your teeth. You just got to wash it down.
Gotta
all
get
right,
it out.
Lou joining in. Lou, how's it going, Lou?
What's up, Lou?
Josh says his top 4: Rock, Eddie, Cena, and Edge. Which it's Edge.
On this day.
Tim has his 4 as Dusty Rhodes, Eddie Guerrero, The Undertaker, and Roddy Piper. Just going to catch a few here from Twitter and Facebook. Rodney has Austin Foley, Vince, and Charlotte Flair. Which there wasn't a lot that had females, especially current, in their top 4 of all time. Charlie says Hogan, Austin, Andre, and Taker. Jumping over here on the Facebook. Justin has Taker, Hogan, Rock, and Cena. Lee has Vince McMahon, Hulk Hogan, Roddy Piper, Andre the Giant. Mario had Hogan, Bruno, Andre, and The Undertaker. Bradley, Taker, Orton, Styles, and Reigns. So yeah, I mean, we saw quite a different. Ryan, your uncle Jason had the Brooklyn Brawler, and that was it.
Why wouldn't you?
Just one face on Mount Rushmore.
I appreciate his contributions. Just that's a monument. Yeah, but he's close.
Yeah, but hey, and maybe I don't know. Maybe they carved it 4 times. I don't know.
Hey, and Brawler hasn't been canceled yet, so that's good.
That's true. He has
that
not.
One's at least still standing.
And let's go to women. Let's do our top 4, our all-time women. Nikki threw hers on there. Wendy Richter, Medusa, Bull Nakano, and Awesome Kong.
When you said Nikki, I thought you were starting yours off with Nikki Bella, and I was.
I heard the same thing.
Oh, that's good. Ryan, do you have your 4 women?
Yeah. Much like you, it's just 4 Brie Bellas. Kobe.
Don't you dare take that tone with me.
It would be 2 from an earlier era. I think Trish and Lita would belong on there. Absolutely, no questions asked. The woman, in my opinion, now that carries the division is Charlotte Flair. And then you absolutely cannot make a woman's monument without China on it. So China is my 4th.
Matt.
If we're talking importance into the industry, I'm gonna go with Mae Young, China, Trish,
China,
and thank you. And it's tough, but I'm gonna give my 4th to Stephanie.
Okay.
Just in terms of importance.
Wait. So you're willing to potentially memorialize Vince McMahon and Stephanie and no mention of Shane in this whole conversation?
I mean, we haven't gotten to like just all time like best.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it. That's fair.
We did favorite and we did important to the industry, but we didn't do just like the best in-ring performers of all time.
Right. What's bigger than Mount Rushmore? That's what he would get. I get you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. My 4 are Trish,
China,
Lita, and of course, how could I make a list without?
But you can't touch. You can't.
I thought you were going to say Bret Hart again, so that's a surprise to me.
I was anticipating Natty.
It is not Natty. It is not Natty either. No, I think my number 4 would probably be Sunny. And I know she wasn't an in-ring superstar, but if you look at the scope of especially our wrestling, I know, Ryan, stop it. But I mean, if you think about it, the mid 90s and from the cartoony era through the new generation into the Attitude Era, I mean, Sunny was a huge part of that.
I mean, let me know if she gives you the discount on the OnlyFans for this impact.
That's what I was shooting for. You got to shoot your shot at some point.
She was I mean, after they won Atomic Show, we had become friends on Facebook, but she has become that insufferable that I had to unfriend Sunny, which is like 13-year-old Ryan is real pissed off at 36-year-old Ryan, but 36-year-old Ryan understands.
Yeah.
Off the deep end, man.
Yeah, she,
Just
you know, and
nuts.
like this is all about you know, on WWE screen persona, not any other screen.
WWF
Or WWF, yes.
Once you got the E out.
Yeah. Tim says his women to be Medusa, China, Stephanie McMahon, Dixie Carter.
Medusa, that's a great call, man. That's really good on the WCW side.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he said Medusa / Alundra Blaze, but I mean,
sure, no, I mean she was very impactful in WCW.
Nikki says she did an indie show. Sunny was there, and she was let down. Yeah, most people are. let's be honest. You know, if you've met Sunny, you probably were let down.
So let me ask you this before we move on, because I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter, but like Funko did tweet out, give us 5 wrestlers that we have not made a Funko figure for.
No, I didn't see that.
And they said you have to pick 5, no more, no less. And they can't already have a figure made. So to me, that meant like no, like Mankind, because there is the Mick Foley.
Sure.
So I tweeted mine out, but now I'm putting you guys on the spot with that.
We got to pick 5.
Have to.
Abe Knuckleball Schwartz, Skinner,
Duke Drosy,
Max Moon.
The Beverly Brothers.
Do you know Max Moon was the Beverly Brothers? That's fine. Did you know Max Moon was known as something else when he first debuted, and when he first debuted, it was at Hershey. And it was a different, and I forget the name. I just saw it as I was like, I pulled up an old Superstars or something from on the network, and it was from the Hershey Park Arena, and it wasn't.
I did know that it was Kane the Undertaker.
But the Max Moon, it was like Mega Man in a wrestling ring. Was like kind of how I always compared the Max Moon.
I believe 2 different people portrayed Max Moon as well. Like it was supposed to be somebody really quick, and then it was Conan.
Yeah, I always knew it as just Conan. I didn't know that it was anybody else. Man, 5 that haven't been done. This is also testing my knowledge of who exactly has
I have a list printed somewhere. Because I was keeping track of which ones I have.
Well, I went up to, because I have all of them at this point, so I like went up to double check when I tweeted it out to make sure that like some of the ones I was thinking weren't on the list. And now that I'm looking at the 5 that I did tweet, there's one notable omission for me that I would really like to see as a.
I mean, Eddie's one of them, like, because there has not been an Eddie Guerrero, so I definitely would put Eddie in there. Nikki says she wants a Barry Horowitz. That's a great. I love Barry Horowitz. Man, let's see here.
I'm gonna go with Lita.
Okay.
For sure, Eddie Guerrero obviously made my list. Shane McMahon.
There hasn't been a Trish, right?
There has been a Trish.
Okay.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money.
Dollar.
Has there been in Austin?
Multiple.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there was variants of the one. I would love to see a Jeff Jarrett.
Okay. I mean, I'll go British Bulldog, Owen Hart, Jim Neidhart. That knocks off 3 for me.
Natty.
There we go. There's my 5. Yeah. See, it's a little hard for me because I don't own all of them, and I don't know who's been.
I mean, I'll give you mine, and you'll laugh at the one, and I would scratch that one off, and replace it with someone else. So I had Eddie Guerrero, I had China, I had Jim Ross, I had Edge, and then I had the Big Show. But you can take the Big Show off and put in Gold Dust. And that's fine with me.
I kind of thought Gold Dust, and I was like, but you know, at the same time, like obviously right now that isn't going to happen. Neither would the Jim Ross at this point, unfortunately. I mean, unless AEW gets in the Funko business, which I'm shocked they haven't.
New Japan dabbled in it.
Well, yeah, because there was was there Cody Bucks and Omega, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah. I did I buy the Cody one? I may have bought the Cody one. We know I didn't buy the Young Bucks one.
The Cody one's solid.
Yeah,
The Young Bucks ones are pretty cool too. I got the Hot Topic one. But I don't know. I just didn't know if like you guys could think of any glaring omissions, especially from like 80s Attitude Era, even that.
The biggest one I can think of was the Dean Ambrose pop that never came out.
Right.
You know, that's probably the big one. They had Seth Rollins like 21, Roman Reigns was 23, and they never released the number 22 WWE Funko Pop, which I'm assuming had to be for Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
Right. Was there ever
to this day, like it just skips right the fuck over? Like they could go back and just release anybody as 22.
Right.
Why not? I guess.
Josh says Rey Mysterio. I don't believe there's a Mysterio. Oh, is there?
Yeah, number like 4.
Man, Nikki's awesome. Bastion Booger.
Oh man. Ludwig Borga.
There was never a Sable one, was there?
No.
Not enough plastic.
She's kind of more or less seems to be almost like excommunicated from like WWE history. You don't see her brought up in much of anything, really. So you know, there's one that I can think of from the kind of the Attitude Era.
There's not a Sunny Pop either.
No. I don't think there was ever like a Jerry the King Lawler. I think if you could do the set of like Lawler and King would be a solid set.
There was never an X-Pac or a New Age Outlaws.
No. This thinking of like great, like you know, the King and JR as a commentary team, I would love to see a Gorilla and Bobby set.
Oh,
would be solid.
Bobby Heenan would be great.
Nikki says Deborah as well. Was there a shit? I just had it. There was never like a Mr. Perfect. You know, so you know, you can kind of dig back into
a Texas tornado with a wooden foot or something like that. It'd be a lot of good choices.
Paul Diamond was the other Max Moon. Tim says.
Paul yes.
Diamond. He was also Kato in the Orient Express.
Yeah,
Charlie's with us. How we doing?
Paul Bearer Funko Pop would be pretty awesome too. Holding the urn.
Yeah, that would be a great one.
There's not a Hacksaw Jim Duggan. There's a lot. There really is a lot they could go with.
I feel like the early 90s, like when we were first getting into wrestling, would be a great kind of set to dig into because you had a lot of great characters. Like I feel like once you got into the Attitude Era, it was just like, you know, Ken Shamrock and Steve Blackman, and nothing against those guys, but like it's literally just like human, you know, like a guy with beard. Yeah, like you know, like a Doink the Clown, Duke the Dumpster Drozy, you know, like different characters that had you know, face paint or masks or what have you. I think was that a Kane?
Yeah.
Funko Pop? Okay. Yeah, see,
I don't a pretty solid pop too, yeah. I
would imagine. But yeah, those are a couple that come to mind as well. So that's a great topic though. I actually need to like dig in a little bit more and figure out which ones I don't have. And I'm never gonna hunt down and get all of them. At this point, there's no way. But there's probably some that I want to get.
I mean, you really have to stay on top of it because once they're like out of line, then the price just skyrockets. Like the Rey Mysterio pops are worth like $120 now. The AJ Lee one that I have is worth like $260.
Holy
so,
shit!
If I was ever in a pinch, I could try to sell it. But like, I mean, when you get those for like $10, and like if you wanted to then turn around and flip them, you can make some.
Well, are the Punk ones are still going for crazy numbers too? I bet
about like 120 or so.
Wow, so the AJ Lee ones are going even more. But like
I think that's the most expensive one probably in the set, right? Is AJ Lee.
Yeah.
every so often there's like it's like M3 Toys or something. We'll do these like mystery boxes where you buy you buy one for like $10 and you'll get like 2 pops or something in it. And there was a couple of times where they had CM Punks on there, and one of them was the variant with like the pink and black.
Yeah.
And yeah, I want to say it was like $50, but you got like 3 or 4 pops in the box, and I almost jumped on it. But yeah, then again, like if you don't get one of the high value ones, you just end up like with 2 Lucky Charms and a Cinnamon Toast Crunch or something, which I mean, no, I mean I love Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but like I'm not dropping $50 for a Cinnamon Toast Crunch Funko Pop.
I mean, you could have said Dax Prescott and you've been fine, but whatever.
Dax Shepard Prescott.
Yeah, it's the same guy. It's his middle name. Fuck you.
Yeah, I kind of fell behind because I was wanting to do the same thing with the retro figures, and they came out. It seemed like every like 2 months, but then like the local Walmarts and stuff never had them. Thanks.
They did have them.
Thanks,
Larry
buddy.
fucking Peach just bought them all up.
Thanks, buddy. But so now it's just a matter of like I think like 6 months ago or something, I went on and I found a full series on eBay. So, I just have to. I have a list written down of the ones I still need. Charlie says off topic. He wants an Arthur Fleck Joker pop. Cool. Not my bag, but
Didn't love the movie. I don't know.
Was that the
Joker?
Yeah, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. Is that the one? Is that the movie?
I think so.
Yeah, I haven't
Right.
seen. I haven't watched it yet. It's out of all the things I should be doing throughout this time. I should be catching up on movies. I'm still on episode
you are
2 of
Netflixing.
Big Show. I do have Netflix, yes.
Which is exciting. You're Netflixing now.
Tim, did you at least get the Fiend Funko Pop?
I haven't yet. I do need that. That's one I definitely.
That one's solid.
I definitely need to pick up, and I may actually do that this weekend.
The robe taker one was pretty good too. It's a solid one.
Yeah.
All right, let's.
Sasha Banks doesn't have one, does she?
Yeah, she does.
Oh, I was unaware. Oh no, it is. She's in like I think it's the pink attire, I believe.
Yeah, she has the Boss sunglasses on.
Yes, the ball. Yep. Yeah, you're right.
All right, let's move ahead here. Obviously, a lot of the news over the last couple of weeks. Again, we weren't live last week. For the regular show, is there's been a lot of changing news regularly about the COVID-19 and the WWE and AEW and things like that. So over the last couple of weeks, obviously, there's been a lot of rumors. There's been some WWE superstars that have
There's an old logo.
Yeah, that is an old logo.
I still have. I actually just found my Big Jim sports shirt the other day.
There it is. That's awesome. I have them. Mine's got to be buried somewhere. The known positives in the WWE that we know of are Renee Young, Jamie Noble, Adam Pearce, and Kayla Braxton, who apparently has tested positive twice. Don't know. Didn't know that was
charm, guys.
Didn't know that was a thing. Now then again, one of them could have been a false positive, which has been a problem with some tests. So there's no guarantee that she's actually been infected twice. There's been rumors of what has been reported dozens or more, 30 or more, between talent, producers, etc. But we know of those 4. Now the WWE is conducting regular testing. The family and friends as fans has been discontinued with the WWE. They had more testing earlier this week ahead of the Great American Bash tapings, which the first episode aired last night. And now WWE has indicated that social distancing, masks, and other measures will be mandatory moving forward. And if you've looked in the crowd for the last, I think it was SmackDown, Raw, and NXT last night, and just as we said 2 weeks ago here, You have the masks on the shop site. It's an easy merch push as well. But they are now wearing them around the ring. So I mean, there obviously with only 4 known positives. I mean, the bottom line is, and we had talked about it before, is the WWE could have been doing this better for a while. They absolutely could have. And unfortunately, what happened is employees started getting sick and almost kind of derailed everything. And you're also in an unfortunate situation where Florida is just, I mean, exploding in terms of cases. They had over 10,000 new cases today. So both AEW and WWE, you know, are taping in the state of Florida. So it's a scary situation. It's a you know, but the thing if there's not, it sounds weird to say anything good coming out of this, but is the fact that WWE, because of their own missteps at best, failure at worst, they've kind of been forced to have to test now. So you know that's kind of a thing that's happening, and they're you know wearing masks and whatever. So there's not a whole lot to discuss unless you guys want to give your thoughts on just kind of the WWE's kind of mishandling of the whole situation.
I think it was mishandled. I mean, it is what it is. You can correct it from where you're at, or you can just pretend it's not an issue. I think a lot of Americans in general, once things started to open up, hoped and wished that this coronavirus was going away, and kind of got lulled into a false sense of security. And we are seeing right now the results of that, of people flooding beaches, people not social distancing in stores, people fighting fucking orders to wear masks, just
Austin Aries.
I'm just exhausted from it myself. I hate even wasting time talking about it. I'm just at that point. Like wrestling, it was my escape from that bullshit, and now it's part of until they figure out how to do it safely or whatever. And I get Fox probably has some sort of mandates and rules, and TNT wants new live episode. I get that, but come on, there's got to be something that somebody can do.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I think wrestling was just kind of the one testing the waters sooner than everyone else. And they fell into the whole, hey, come on in, water's great situation. Everyone just kind of dove in, and now we're seeing that. And as more people were getting in, wrestling tried to swim further out from shore. And it's just kind of a mess now. So I think we're going to be taking a few steps back, unfortunately. But it's going to be the right decision to make. And it's a shame because I think we were kind of getting close at one point to, where we could kind of test the waters out, and just, not to get political, but, certain people didn't want to hear that. So, when I go into a Walmart or a Lowe's or a grocery store and I just see people without masks, it's just kind of tells me, who really does care about,
right,
getting back to normal life, and who just wants to do what they want to do.
Watch the world burn.
Right. So it is unfortunate. I think we all kind of were relying heavily on WWE to just kind of give us that escape because we weren't getting anywhere else. And they just pushed it too far. I think they had a pretty good plan in place to start. And then, like, as things happened, they were just like, well, let's try this. And they should have just stayed the course. And unfortunately didn't.
Yeah, and I mean, and I trust me, and I've come around and I've agreed with everybody that the shows that have had, wrestlers in the crowd as quote unquote fans, it's a it comes across better than without, because we're used to watching it with a full arena full of crowd. But like, man, if WWE could have kind of stayed the course with the empty arena, I'm not saying they would have dodged everything, but I feel like once they kind of went with the AEW model, then they kind of started bringing in like the friends and family thing, and then things just kind of got out of hand. Now, I guess last night, AEW had the wrestlers at ringside. They had people in the crowd, friends and family, up in like the amphitheater. And there was a report today that some of them may only have had the temperature check and questionnaire when they came in. Now the people closer to ringside were actually tested. The people further away, they never got up close. And they were apparently like, they weren't sitting next to each other. It was kind of, a bunch of seats around. So it was, people were kind of isolated to themselves. But to me, because everybody's wanted to point the finger at WWE. Don't get me wrong. WWE has done it wrong for longer. So, they're not without blame, but also, AEW is not without blame either. And so it's just, it sucks. It really does. It sucks. It's a crappy thing. Yeah, Nikki says she works at Walmart, and customers there are without masks, which, that's, for me, I've been just about as isolated as possible. But when I do go out, I mean, even if I go for a drive, I take a mask. What happens with my car, or, I'm going to be protected. But yeah, Charlie asked, and I had this down. I don't know if you guys saw any of the Wednesday night shows last night, but Taz kind of, man, he fired a shot straight across the bow. He was obviously talking about, because the Moxley versus Brian Cage match is supposed to be, I believe, next week at Fyter Fest. It has been bumped back because John Moxley, of course, married to Renee Young, who is COVID positive. So that match, Brian Cage, has been moved back 2 weeks from last night at Fight for the Fallen. So Taz, in his promo, took a shot saying, in part, if you decide to get your ass here to work next week, you would get tested again, because he talked about the 2 tests that he's already had tested negative. And he said, because John, as you know, we do not run a sloppy ship. Obviously referring to WWE. Pro Wrestling Observer late last night, many in AEW were not happy with the shot that Taz took at WWE. And like, here's the thing, and I tweeted this last night, and it because it's been a common theme. If at any point WWE has taken a shot, whether it's Triple H in the Hall of Fame speech, having fun with Billy Gunn, there's been other things at points. There's a lot of people that are like, why is WWE got to be the bully picking on AEW? But then, like, people loved what Taz said last night. I love it both ways. Like, if everybody wanted to talk about Wednesday Night Wars and things like that, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get each side taking shots at each other. MJF last night directly looked square in the camera and said, we're in a ratings war, and that's why you have me out here. Right. Like, so, and 2 weeks in a row now, NXT has won. Now, AEW closed the gap a little more this week, but like, guess what? Like,
but what about the key metrics?
Yeah, I love that Alvarez dropped the rating numbers. Then he dropped that AEW still won in the primary demographic, and then he followed that with, all right, I'm out of Twitter for a while. Like, what a fucking douche. But like, here's the thing, man. I love it. Like, I love it. Like, I heard the shit. Like, I heard what he said, and like, I noticed that even like the wrestlers at ringside, nobody really reacted when he said it. Like, when MJF took the, said the ratings war thing, people cheered. When MJF took the said it about Jungle Boy, he's like, you should be counting your dad's money in LA. People kind of went, whoa. Nobody reacted to Taz, which tells me nobody knew that was coming.
Yeah, I agree.
But I loved it. Like, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I loved what Taz said.
Isn't it all fair in love and war? I mean, let's bring that shit on. What do you expect it's going to be? You take pot shots I do it with you, Jim. You're a Cowboys fan. We take shots at each other for that. Doesn't mean we don't like each other. Doesn't mean, we don't meet each other on other levels. It's rivalry, and it's a great, absolutely bring it on. I want all of the pot shots.
Yeah, 100%.
All of them.
Yeah, I mean, there's no issues with it. It has to go both ways. So, I mean, coming from Taz versus coming from Triple H, it's two very different scenarios. But at the same time, I'm always here for the Kobe.
Yeah, it's and like that's what it's supposed to be. Like and I also think that today's landscape is a lot different than it was when it was WCW versus WWE, because like WWE at this point they're not gonna buy out AEW. I think we even said before on this show, AEW is gonna last as long as Tony Khan wants to fund it. Because that's the thing, they are business people, and if AEW starts to not make money, they're gonna cut it loose, because they're not wrestling people, they're business people. The WWE, that's why they're always gonna keep striving to stay in business and stay on top of business. And like the articles this week, well, Vince McMahon wants to be the first one to be back with fans. Shouldn't everybody want to be like? Shouldn't every company want to be the first one back with fans? You don't want to do it unsafely, but live gates make you money, whether you're a concert, whether you're a theater, whether you're a wrestling company, whether you're a sports league. That's where a lot of you're seeing minor league sports across, all sports canceling. The hockey canceled, baseball announced this week they canceled. Why? Because minor league sports, they make money at the gate. That's how the leagues make money. So every company should want to be the first one with people. But again, you want to do it safely, because WWE tentatively had dates scheduled at a venue in Florida the end of this month. Those have reportedly been scrapped or moved because it's not going to be safe in 3.5 weeks to put even a couple of thousand people in an arena. So, it's funny how the news that Vince wanted to run those shows got a lot of play on social media. The ones about it being moved or postponed didn't get the same level. Speaking of shows that are being moved or changed, obviously
that's because Alvarez got off Twitter. You said that's probably why. He just took a break then again too.
The two shows that are kind of in play because of all of this. SummerSlam. It was supposed to be in Boston. The mayor of Boston back in, I think it was in March. I don't remember. I have no concept of time anymore. But at some point he said no large gatherings until September. So SummerSlam is in August. That's not, that's before September. So from the Twitter account WrestleVotes tweeted yesterday, quote, recently asked for an update on SummerSlam. Source 2 or 3 weeks ago had said they were certain WWE would find a way to do it with an audience. Today, very much unsure. As badly as they don't want the event to be at the Performance Center, that is very much on the table. Decision not yet imminent. So obviously SummerSlam is the 2nd or 3rd week of August, weekend of August. And therefore, at this point, if I were a betting man, I would bet on SummerSlam being at the Performance Center.
I think that's a safe
for
bet,
the majority of the matches. Now Charlie just sent a thing, breaking news. Now I gotta find the I have not vetted this, but WWE officially has purchased Evolve Wrestling.
Ooh.
38 minutes ago. Here we go. 38 minutes ago, PW Insider, wrestling from Mike Johnson, PW Insider. World Wrestling Entertainment has officially acquired ownership of the Gabe Sapolsky Evolve promotion. PW Insider has confirmed it has long been the flagship promotion of Sai Hamamoi's company. World Wrestling Network, WWN. The deal was closed after several months of negotiations. While there were rumors making the rounds that Evolve had been sold to WWE, nothing had been finalized until recently. So WWE, thank you, Charlie, for that one. WWE looks to have purchased Evolve Wrestling, which I know we had talked about that a couple of weeks ago, that it looked like it was going that way, but it looks like it is now official.
The library's probably worth it alone. There's a lot of guys, and I think back in 15, 16, they struck a deal to let the WWE, scout their talent, sort of thing.
Well, it's isn't Austin Theory had come through there?
Theory
I believe.
Was an Evolve guy, yeah.
And there's some others, and yeah, I mean it's Tape Library. I know they aired the 10th anniversary show that went head to head with an AEW pay-per-view that got people all up in arms or what have you. But yeah, so okay, looks at that. So yeah, I mean SummerSlam more than likely. Like I said, my guess is going to be at the Performance Center. Maybe they'll throw a cinematic match or two in there. Maybe they'll do something on the roof of headquarters for a match or two. I don't know. I'm sure they'll figure something out. They've done creative things here over the last couple months. And WrestlingNews.co reports that WWE still has hopes of having a Hall of Fame ceremony during SummerSlam weekend. Obviously, that was bumped from WrestleMania weekend because of everything. It's, quote, very possible the ceremony may take place the weekend of SummerSlam. It depends on many factors, including travel restrictions, COVID-19 rules and regulations imposed by the government. It has not been canceled for good, the Hall of Fame ceremony. There are people in the company who feel it won't need to happen inside the Performance Center. I mean, here's the thing, and I know, like the Bella Twins, they are both very pregnant at this point. So moving them around the country doesn't seem to be the most safe thing to do right now. But here's the thing. I mean, we American Idol, I know, did their show via online the recordings. I'm sure America's Got Talent's going to be in the same boat. I think you could do the Hall of Fame ceremony with people recording their speeches from home. If you're that intent on doing the, if you want to bring in some people to the PC or to headquarters or something like that, you can. But I mean, you can still do it. You could do it SummerSlam weekend, air it on USA, air it on the network, whatever. But you don't. It's not something that you necessarily have to do in a venue with fans. And let's be honest, it's sometimes the fans kind of take over these ceremonies anyway. So maybe this is a silver lining, blessing in disguise sort of a thing.
Now, I think you got to have the fans present. I mean, I get what you're saying, but I don't know. I guess you could do it. You can do it. Yeah. Here's your award. I got it at the USPS or wherever.
If you're that intent on having it this year as opposed to rolling it over.
Yeah, that's fair. You'll probably do it without fans then if you have to have it this year.
Right, because otherwise, you're just going to bump this class to next year, and then do you do a bigger class, or do you have one class inducted on Raw, one inducted on Raw, one on SmackDown? Like, I don't know.
Right.
Like, because
if you hold it to next year, you could do WrestleMania and SummerSlam. But if you're going to do that, just do SummerSlam this year and do it.
Or do
over Skype, over Zoom, whatever.
Maybe we can do shows with crowds by Survivor Series or by Royal Rumble. So maybe hold the 2020 class goes in Royal Rumble weekend, and then the next class, and maybe you pull the trigger on the Undertaker next WrestleMania, and just do the Undertaker next WrestleMania, so you don't have to. But yeah, it's all going to be dependent on what exactly happens with this fucking pandemic too. Because we thought, maybe by June we'll be okay, maybe by July we'll be okay, maybe by 2027 we'll be fine. But any other thoughts on any of the stuff around the pandemic? it was it was a fucked up couple of weeks, and also too, and I didn't. I was going to mention more about it last week. Obviously, the speaking out movement over the past few weeks has really taken a thing, and like this is my statement on it for the people that have shared their stories and they felt ready to share their stories. The victims who have shared their stories, we stand with you. The things that have happened to you are not okay. So, and for the victims that are out there that haven't shared their stories, we also stand with you. Like, nobody should be forced to share their story. No, there's nobody that should be outing somebody else's story as well. So when people are ready, they can tell their story. It's their story to tell. But I didn't want to go this week without talking about this stuff with the pandemic and talking about the speaking out thing, because there's a lot, we use this as entertainment, and wrestling is kind of an escape. But unfortunately, sometimes wrestling and reality meet head on, and we can't ignore it either.
Yeah, I agree, and I think I can speak for almost everybody when you can lump the COVID pandemic with predators and rapists, and it's ruining professional wrestling, and the world would be a lot better without them.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, just following along everything. I know it's tough for some people to see, wrestlers that they love, wrestlers they admire being called out on this, and of course that's going to be tough. But even if you don't believe it, even if you think it's a lie, the last thing that you need to do is just like be vocal, be nasty about it, like let the stories be told. We need to start taking people at their word, because a lot of these stories just get pushed aside. It's been happening for far too long, and it's unfortunate. So, I get it. It is unfortunate that a lot of wrestlers that, I enjoyed watching in the ring, hearing these stories about them, it's tough to see, but at the same time, I mean, we can't just keep looking past all of this stuff. You finally have to start listening, start believing it, and stop supporting the people that are doing shitty things. As tough as it may be for you to believe or understand or grasp, if they're doing these shitty things, from what I'm seeing online, these stories being told that the victims are the ones being attacked. So it's not like, what is them coming out telling these stories doing for them? They're not getting money, they're not getting fame, they're getting just more verbal abuse. So, there's no reward for them to come out and do this. So it's time we finally just start believing.
Yeah, and I know from us, I mean, unfortunately, some of the people who have been outed as awful people and predators are people we've had on this show, and we've gone back through the history of our show, and we've removed episodes from our podcast feed that we've had on here, and it sucks because it's our very first interview that we ever had on this show turned out to be a real piece of shit, and
Sure did.
And it sucks, and so when things start coming out, this isn't okay. Like, the thought was like, well, do we leave them there because we didn't know at the time? But I don't want that associated with
Right.
us. So we did what we felt we should do, and those are no longer on our feed.
It was our first guest's goal to unionize the professional wrestling business and bring good brothers and sisters together, and it's the irony of him being the catalyst in a lot of this, and bringing a lot of good brothers and sisters together on the other end.
Right.
Not how he ever intended or wanting to bring wrestlers together, but absolutely did. And I think,
Careful what you
like I
wish
said,
for.
on the other end, on the other side of this, you're going to be left with a lot of good, honest, hardworking, good brothers, good sisters, and then the professional wrestling, especially on the independent scene, will be better for getting rid of the trash and plotting forward in a much more inclusive way than we've ever said before. And I personally can't wait for COVID to be over and to enjoy that sense of family that you get from an independent locker room and independent wrestling fans and just the closeness that we get. So it's going to be great to know that some of the trash was removed, not all of it yet, but I truthfully believe their time will come.
Yeah, because I think too
We're going to be better off.
Yeah, I think too, coming out of this, I think people are gonna hopefully, and then not everybody, unfortunately, because there's still gonna be bad situations, but I think the hope is that the people who are dealing with terrible people in our industry will feel more comfortable speaking up and speaking out, and people will listen to them, and there'll be more advocates for especially female talent on every show. That would be great. And things like that. So hopefully coming out of this, the business will be better, because that, it's obviously something that needs to be better. So hopefully it will be coming out of this. All right, let's keep moving forward here. This week was the 9th anniversary of CM Punk's Pipebomb. Obviously, one of the more famous promo segments in the history of the business. And there was a great, I think it's some Bleacher Report WWE, or it could have been from Fox Sports, where you had to pick 3 great promos to keep and the rest went away. But before we did that, I want to talk about, like, did the pipe bomb, because I saw people debating this on Twitter, did the pipe bomb really change anything? Like, it's a legendary promo. We all remember Punk sitting there in the Stone Cold shirt and High Colt Cabana and all of that. But 9 years later, how much did it change? Now, I can argue that without CM Punk, without maybe the pipe bomb, I don't know if we get Daniel Bryan world champion Yeselmania. I don't know if the change to the smaller guy, so to speak, as a leading candidate in the WWE happens. I don't know if AJ Styles necessarily ends up to the WWE without CM Punk. It could have, but you could maybe look to that moment and Punk, kind of, rising to power, for lack of a better word, within the WWE, rising to popularity. I think change it, but like, I think it's hard to say how much one promo really changed the business. Like, obviously Austin 316 is one that probably changed the business, but how much do you guys think that the pipe bomb changed the business or the WWE?
I think you can argue that it changed the trajectory of the CM Punk character and where he was going within the WWE. I think it solidified the mentality of CM Punk as kind of the voice of the voiceless. I think you can use that argument, though, Jim, for most of the promos that were on the graphic that was shared. And just off the top of my head, oh boy, what was it? Hard Times.
We'll discuss those. Yeah.
Okay. I just don't know how many of them really changed the trajectory of professional wrestling, not just the wrestler involved. you can even argue that the that the Austin one that you brought up really just changed Austin's trajectory, and then Austin made all of those changes. So how much does one promo talkie
That's
segment
fair.
really change wrestling?
Okay, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, I think the pipe bomb was kind of that official, like, pulling back of the curtain, for wrestling fans. So yeah, I mean, Ryan's right. It certainly changed a lot for CM Punk, but I think it gave the fans a little bit more power too, in terms of how they were able to impact shows, not just simply with the CM Punk chants in exchange of like the boring chants, but just to give the fans the wherewithal that we are able to impact the show at all. I mean, because Vince may deny it, but I mean the whole Yeselmania is like very largely crowd driven, just because of the whole Occupy Raw segment. And I mean, just I think if CM Punk doesn't make that promo, it doesn't linger as much with Vince, to the extent that, a couple of years later, when, he has this golden goose in Daniel Bryan, that he doesn't like embrace that finally, after like fighting it for so long. Because, Vince, if nothing else, is a real stickler for, well, I know better than everyone. And in the past, he certainly did, but I think Punk's promo was a wake-up call that, like, hey, times are changing.
Yeah, and I Charlie here says without the pipe bomb, I don't think you get guys like Bryan, Rollins, Styles, KO, Kofi to the level that they are, or in some cases they might not even make it to the WWE in the main roster. He said I think that promo showed you don't have to be body guys like Cena or Roman. Tim says, could it be Austin changed the business, then it started going back, and then Punk rejuvenated a different aspect of it again? Yeah, I think that's it. And maybe that was part of the reason Punk wore an Austin shirt that night. I don't, to kind of have that feel to it of, I'm going to be in control of the show instead of Vince is going to be in control of the show, where the fans are going to be in control of the show, as opposed to the WWE telling us what the show's going to be. And at times look at, and I think social media has played into that as well, but at times it's kind of bit the WWE in the ass, and not just pointing the fingers at Roman Reigns, but, we've seen backlash for, for the pushes of Roman Reigns and to an extent Charlotte Flair, and there's different people who have gotten pushes over time. I'm not saying they're not worthy of them. Roman Reigns is great in the ring. Charlotte Flair's arguably one of the best female wrestlers of all time. But when you give people the option to have their voice be heard, and obviously when the McMahons and Triple H stand in the ring and, you're the commissioner, we're not the commissioner, that'll come back and bite you too.
I mean, to that extent, I think that's even more telling, because throughout the whole Yes movement thing, they tried to just downplay the impact the fans had. They pointed out like how fickle fans can be as well, and how, we will latch on to something. I think they used the Fandango as the key, like, exhibit A, in terms of everyone loved doing the whole like finger dance to Fandango. But when he went away, no one was really like, oh.
It was fucking you jerk.
So,
Don't be rude.
So I mean, I think that was them trying to say, like, you don't have as much power as you think, and then the fans were like, no, with the certain wrestlers we do, and we will fight for the right ones. Daniel Bryan being case in point. I think the most over wrestler we've seen since Stone Cold is Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was finally a show once Daniel Bryan came back that we were able to be part of a Yes chant, because I know right after he won the titles was when his there was a show that we went to and his dad had passed away, and like from a fan standpoint, obviously separating the, it's horrible that, but it was like, we were this yes movement was finally at like this pinnacle. He's finally like won the title, and we're going to be part of this live crowd. And then it's like, oh,
got gypped.
man, so like, and so and I obviously couldn't be happier that Daniel Bryan was able to come back from his injuries, and like now he's, the yes movement was a thing again. And but yeah, it's I think it did have an impact on on what the business was and where it went, especially in the WWE. Nikki says she just recently forgave CM Punk for leaving. I was kind of one of those people too. Like I was, over the history of this. Over the history of this show, like, I regularly was like, because I thought it was a shitty thing, but everybody.
I think this is the first time I've heard you call him CM Punk. You usually call him Phil.
I usually call him Phil from Chicago. Phil from Chicago, first time, long time. But yeah, no, I mean, he's kind of mildly back in the fold a little bit on the show that got canceled, but or at least changed. I guess that like they're hoping to still do some backstages around like big pay-per-view weekends, but then also there was it was 9 promos, and you have to pick 3 to keep, and the rest go away. So it was the Hard Times promo, Dusty Rhodes, AJ Lee's Total Divas promo, Mark Henry's fake retirement,
Love it.
the One Night Stand, Paul Heyman from ECW One Night Stand, the Pipe Bomb, obviously, Miz from Talking Smack, where he's looking in the camera, Austin 316, the Rock Armageddon one, which I think where he did all the impersonations, I did it for the Rock, I think that's the one, and then the Randy Savage Cream of the Crop promo. So I mean, obviously 9 really good ones. For me, the Austin 316 absolutely has to stay. I kept the Talking Smack promo from the Miz, and the reason I kept that one, obviously I'm a big Miz guy, but that level of promo work, with that much emotion, you don't see that a lot anymore. And that one, because of the type of show that Talking Smack was, it was an interview show, but that nobody at any point in that show went to like that level. And it was like, you didn't know was this, and it was that great thing from any promo where you question, is this real or not? So I freaking love that one. And I think I really do. I think my third one is the Mark Henry retirement speech. The retirement promo, because like it was like, he's sitting there and he's talking about his kid, and he's finally going to go home and be with his son, and he's crying, and Cena's there, and then he just nails Cena and just drops him like a bad habit. And it was because again, you're sitting there going, and Mark Henry, obviously, I mean, he has the longevity in the company, but like you never necessarily looked at Mark Henry and was like, wow, there's a guy that I'm going to really miss when he retires. And then he's retiring, and you're like, oh my God. Like,
he had that great feud with Ryback. How could you be upset about that?
And it's like, holy shit, like this guy can't leave now. He's still on top of his game, and then bam, he's right back in. It was so good. So those are my 3 to keep.
So good that it took like 2 more years for Mark Henry to be back on WWE program, and fuck him. He's part of the Big Show. He will never make my list of anything ever again.
Well, hold on.
Mick Foley was okay.
Come on, man. Spoiler alert. I'm only on episode 2.
Okay, Mick Foley and Mark Henry are definitely not in the Big Show. Definitely not.
Just gotta say, I mean, I'm glad you quantified that.
If it was important to Jim, he'd have watched it already.
That is true.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you saying any involvement in the big show.
Yeah, Mick Foley was fine though. He's still on my one of my Mount Rushmores. Absolutely, Austin 316. That should be everybody's number one. There should not be a list without that, in my humbled opinion. That is probably the most
They don't need to be
iconic.
humble about it. It should be on everybody's list.
Period.
If it's not,
I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
That's fair. That's fair. It absolutely is. I just recently watched One Night Stand, and Paul Heyman cut a scathing promo. Really did.
it was so good.
His whole "This is ECW," and it really probably goes back to nobody bought Paul Heyman shit more than Paul Heyman did, and he was a great promo. Not in my top three. My top three are Hard Times, just from the depth of what that promo talks about. And I never watched it live. It was only recently that I really discovered that. But that just the emotion in that is something totally different. The pipe bomb, I think, for what he did to CM Punk. And then I think you talk about modern day Austin 316s. That was CM Punk's pipe bomb. Austin 316 would be my third. I would say Talking Smack if I could say four, because watching that live, you knew something special was happening.
Yeah, I think we were
this
watching.
doesn't happen all the time. This is really good. Holy shit. Yeah. So very special moment for the Miz.
He takes a shot about him being hurt, him being weak. Daniel storms off and just
so good.
I'm gonna have to go watch it after.
The belt on the glass table, I can still hear it. So good. It was really, really good. That'd be my number four. So if I get a bonus, saving Mizzy Boy.
Very good. Matt, how about yours?
Austin 316 for sure. I mean, the dawn of the Attitude Era, which made us all fans. So how can we not say that one? Pipe bomb for me for all the reasons I said earlier, just in terms of fan involvement, changing that direction. And in terms of changing direction, my third one has to be the Total Divas promo, because that really solidified the women's revolution and got us to where we were going to be. Like, did the Four Horsewomen take off as much as they did without AJ Lee just finally saying let's be done with this whole diva shit and actually talk about women wrestling? Take out Nikki and Brie squawking on the side, saying,
take that tone with me.
Say that to our faces, as she's literally saying it to their faces. That didn't even take away from the whole promo for me of what AJ was doing in that moment of just taking what she kind of started on Twitter with a simple tweet and turning it into so much more. So in terms of direction, that would be my third, and my fourth would be Hard Times, for all the reasons that Ryan stated in his. I mean, just phenomenal stuff, and it is really tough because all 9 of these are just so good. My username right now is Jim is drunk again because I questioned your choices, but I mean, I loved every single second of that Mark Henry thing. I wouldn't put it in my top 3, but I just watched it the other day and just still was laughing until I cried. Someone was chanting Mae Young at him during the retirement thing.
And I mean, the salmon jacket too. Come on.
It's
beautiful
all
jacket.
That's a big man wearing a salmon jacket. That gets respect from me. Respect from me.
And no one saw. I mean, okay. A few people probably saw the World's Strongest Slam coming. I did not see that coming.
No, I did.
I thought it was just heartfelt, Mark Henry, Olympian wrestler, hanging up the salmon jacket, going home, loosening the tie. Honey, I'm home. And then all of a sudden he just hugs on World's Strongest Slam. So that is strongest.
And I think that's part of it too that makes it better is that he did it to Cena. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Matt, you said that would be number 9 on your list.
I don't know about number 9, but I mean, whoever made the list picked like the
Great
9
promo.
promos that you have to pick.
What is your number 9? Because that's really tough.
Yeah.
Man. Honestly, I'll probably put Armageddon at 9 because there's other Rock promos that I liked more than that one.
Right.
For
It
me,
was Rock doing his shtick, doing it well, but we've seen that I think multiple times in segments of The Rock. So yeah, I agree. That would have to be my numero
I'm gonna
9.
drink a big glass of milk.
like that's
Like Rock?
from that promo.
Rock?
Gotta have the. Was that from the mill? Was that from?
Yeah,
Was
because
it really?
it was Rikishi, Kurt Angle, Austin, and Undertaker were the guys he was in that match with.
Okay.
So Rikishi, it was I did it for The Rock. Undertaker was one more time. He goes, you know, he does this sit up. Austin, he puts the Austin hat on. You know, drink a couple of Steve Weisers, and then yeah, when Kurt Angle.
I'm gonna drink a big glass of milk.
For me, would Hard Times would probably be number 9 because that's the only one on the list that I didn't watch live. That's the only one, you know, and because, and I mean,
I get it. I totally get that. You don't want to be the guy coming in too late on something that everybody else already knows about.
like,
I co-sign that, Jim.
If you're judging it solely on promo quality, it's higher. But I didn't experience that one in live eyes. Like Austin 316, I did. The Armageddon one, I did. I mean, Cream of the Crop, I didn't. So that one probably be lower on my list than some. But the other ones, I was either watching or was a active watcher in that period of time when it happened. So that like that when I'm watching something as it happens, it has more of an impact on me.
Fair. That's fair.
So that's why because they're all tremendous in their own right.
And to be fair, the retirement isn't necessarily a promo. You know, he's not like cutting that. It's just one of the WWE's
Sure.
oh my God moments. But I mean, still the whole thing production wise was so good. It has to be.
It almost becomes a promo because it wasn't real, you know.
Right.
I mean, apparently, because I've heard Mark Henry talk about this on like Busted Open Radio and things like that. That apparently leading up to it, he was ready to retire. Like his plan at the time was he really was retiring, and then they kind of came up with this idea, like, well, what if you go out there and do this, and we kind of give you this run? And he goes, okay. He's like, yeah, sure. Like who's going to turn down who's going to turn down like a main event spot, like going at John Cena? Like, yeah, okay. But yeah, like apparently it that originated because he was ready. He was ready to retire. And he's joked, you know, I know he joked in his Hall of Fame speech and even on other time, like how, you know, because he has lost a considerable amount of weight since that time, how like he would swim in that salmon jacket if he put it on today. Charlie says his 3 would be Austin, Punk, and Dusty. Tim's bummed out because the Shane Douglas throwing down the ECW title promo didn't make it. I think probably, and I know the Dusty one wasn't, but that wasn't technically a WWE promo, but a great moment nonetheless. Charlie also loves Sting's promo with his back to hard cam after War Games. Nikki says she saw it coming and did not like the Mark Henry fake retirement speech. So
did she like the jacket? That's the salmon jacket.
She like the jacket? Say if she liked she liked the jacket or not.
Yeah, we need that answer. I mean, you can dislike the overall moment, but
if you dislike the salmon jacket, then I think we're gonna have
this podcast might not be for you then. I mean,
we embrace all the listeners we get, but Nikki, if you didn't like the salmon jacket, then we will have to wish you the best on your future endeavors in terms
of all right, let's hit a couple of news items. And Lou says you know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here. The Scott Hall when he went to Nitro. Nikki said she did like that he slammed John Cena, so I think you'll be okay here. I think you'll be okay here, Nikki.
All right.
We could take some shots at Big Match John. I think you'll like it here. All right, couple of news items, and then we're gonna get out of here. Of course, one of the big pieces of news in the last couple of weeks: Tessa Blanchard released from Impact Wrestling, and now the big question is, where will she end up? The latest on her status that a source close to Blanchard told TalkSport they believe WWE is, quote, her likely landing spot. Dave Meltzer also reported a couple days ago WWE are interested. Seems as though they are gauging Blanchard's interest too. The source said they didn't believe Tony Khan and AEW are interested in Tessa Blanchard. Of course, part of the reason that she was released, accusations of racism and bullying, as well as them not being able to come to terms on her because she is in Mexico now, and obviously some travel issues with the pandemic. Not able to come to any sort of an agreement with being able to appear at shows for Impact. But of course, many of the allegations coming to light at the start of this year. WWE did not sign her after initially having her in 2016 because of, quote, attitude issues. WWE may believe that she has grown since then. We're curious to find out if she has at the very least. And they seem to be front runners to securing her services, if not by default. I mean, here's the thing. In terms of in-ring talent, she's really good. Really good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're not going to make her the world champion of your company if she is not good. But for me, the WWE has so much great female talent in the company right now. I
mean, off the top of your head, you've got Tamina, you got Nia Jax. I mean, where would you put her?
You called up Shayna Baszler. She had this incredible run in the Rumble, Elimination Chamber. She doesn't win the title at WrestleMania, and she has disappeared. You call up or move Bianca Belair from NXT to Raw. Now she's on Main Event. You have so much great female talent in Raw,
Natalia,
on SmackDown, on NXT, even in NXT UK, which there's questions of whether or not NXT UK is going to be a thing anymore. So if they're not, you can bring some of that talent here. For me, I don't see why you need to bring Tessa Blanchard into the fold. I mean, the matches would be great. Not going to lie. I think we've talked about on this show, like a Charlotte versus Tessa Blanchard feud would be spectacular. It'd be historic when you tie in the Four Horsemen and all of that stuff. Unfortunately, you're not going to have Tully in the mix with Rick on the other side, because Tully's over in AEW. But like, the matches would be incredible. Right now, I don't think you need to bring. And again, if the allegations are true, why bring that into your locker room right now? Just for quality matches. For me, I don't need her in the WWE.
Yeah, Jim, I agree. I think I don't know, just my gut feeling that Impact was aware of what she had said, and some of the allegations didn't really do anything. And then once, the conversation started happening, I think it got touched on again. They got rid of Joey Ryan. There was somebody else that they got rid of. Dave Chris.
Michael Elgin.
Elgin's gone too? Okay. Yeah. I mean, from allegations there that they had enough. They didn't want that to be blown in, that they have a champion that said racist remarks or anything like that. They use the fact that she is in Mexico or whatever and not able to communicate or send video packages up appropriately, whatever they said to like PC get rid of her. I don't know why you would want to bring that to the WWE. Unfortunately,
I mean, here's the thing. There was a lot of allegations that came out the week before she won the world title.
Correct.
So Impact was aware and chose to, because I think leading up to that match, Sami Callihan, like, I think the writing was on the wall. Tess is going to win this match. Then the allegations came out. Then it's like, Impact, you have the option to change course here.
Yeah.
They didn't. And, you know, right, wrong, or indifferent, they chose not to. And, you know, now, you know, that, you know, as the landscape changes, they were able to go ahead and do that, when they probably should have done it beforehand.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, Impact's decision making has never been their strongest suit. Not to, kick it. Right. So nothing more needs to be said on that. I don't want to see Tessa Blanchard in WWE. I think we probably will eventually at some point, just for like a single match, possibly. I hope not. Just because of like everything else going on. And I think like the timing of it just kind of lined up like, hey, we fucked up a few months ago. Let's finally just make things right and just part ways while we can and blame it on, whatever PC thing we can make up to blame it on. Like we said earlier, this is probably not the end of these things happening, unfortunately, as more things will come to light. So it's just something that we're gonna all have to, not embrace, but just deal with. That the wrestlers that we like, the wrestlers that we enjoy watching in the ring, some of them are just kind of shitty people, and we'll have to prepare to just not see them as much in the ring and just deal with it. So if I never see Tessa Blanchard in the ring again, I won't be disappointed.
Yeah. And I mean, here's the thing. AEW probably, needs, and I put that in quotes, her more than WWE does. But I have no problem with her not landing elsewhere, like anywhere. That's like the sad thing. I think she's only like, what, 26, 25, something like that. I mean, she's crazy young, crazy talented, but it just,
when enough people are singing that song, you have to listen to the song.
Yep.
Sure.
You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. This is a stupid prize.
If in a year or two, if she's, kind of admitted she fucked up and, has proven that she's not that person, then maybe you revisit it. But right now, I mean, first off, can she even come in from Mexico, like with the travel restrictions with the pandemic? So like right now, I because we haven't seen Bobby Roode and a couple of other WWE talent that are stuck in Canada. So right now, I don't think you need to bring her in at all. Anyway. Nikki says WWE doesn't need her. Charlie says if they're moving Io and Rhea to Raw or SmackDown, and they want to reload NXT women's roster, they don't need her. Yeah, I agree. Let's see here. Yeah, like Charlie says, how can she not send promos? Adam Cole sent promos from his backyard in Lancaster. Yeah, Tim, she was in their Mae Young Classic. But that was it. They ended up not signing her. Nikki says she watched this whole podcast at work and it was worth it. Well, thank you. We appreciate that. Wherever you watch or listen to us, we appreciate you.
We actually expect more of that. We don't want you to work, get paid, and listen to us. That's great.
Exactly. That's the best. That is the best way to do it. All right. Roman Reigns was recently interviewed by the Hindu Times. During this, he spoke about his current hiatus from the WWE. He said, "For me, I just had to make a choice for my family. The company has done everything that they can do to make it the safest work environment possible. It is not the workplace that I was necessarily concerned about. The decision was taken mainly because each performer travels so much. We're all in such a diverse group from all over the place. I'm not convinced, and I can't trust the fact that everybody is taking it as seriously and locking themselves down at home like I am. I trust my life with my coworkers every time I step foot in the ring, but I can't put the same trust when it has my children, my wife, and my family involved. But I don't want it to come off as I'm taking a stand against the company at all, because I love the WWE. I've been a part of this company just since I was a little boy. That's why I always take it so personally when I represent them. So yeah, I think because there's been a lot of rumor and speculation about Roman taking this time off, and is the WWE happy with him, and they're intentionally cutting him out of the Brock Lesnar vignettes leading up to WrestleMania, and then he's right there on the poster Money in the Bank, and he's part of the Last Ride documentary and the tribute to the Undertaker that the WWE cut for SmackDown, and for they aired it on Raw this week. Here's the deal. I don't think there was ever any heat on Roman Reigns, and obviously if you look over the past 10, 14, 17 days, it turns out Roman was probably ahead of the curve a little bit in terms of the WWE. And you're talking about a guy that has battled cancer numerous times as well, so it's not just him. If he gets sick, he's in tremendous shape. But you never know what this disease is going to do if you get it. So we've said from the beginning that we support Roman Reigns. Like I know, like just watching Raw or SmackDown at different times, there's definitely points where I'm like, and if you go back into the thick of like the Roman Reigns push, when it was constantly Roman's being shoved down our throats or whatever, there was points where we're like, man, what I wouldn't give for just him to just kind of take a breather. And I think overload on any superstar, the argument of time off is always a big one. But there's definitely points where I'm audibly like, wow, I miss seeing Roman Reigns, because love him, hate him, tired of seeing babyface Roman, whatever. He's kind of become such a huge part of what the WWE programming is over the past couple of years. And then when he got sick and he was able to come back, it was like, man, now that unfortunately has kind of been cut short because he had to step away. But yeah, it was the smart thing to do. But I was glad to see, at least in some form, that Roman was spoke out.
Yeah.
And then lastly,
I didn't know that was coming to me. I'm sorry. I just thought that was a complete thought.
Matt, Ryan, if there's any other thoughts on.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he's got a family. He's got kids.
He does have kids. Him and Rhino.
And has to look out for himself too. Probably the weekend, system at this point. You can't Superman punch everything away, big dog. So I'm glad you're taking care of yourself. Not the biggest Roman Reigns fan, but I will never knock what he did throughout this whole thing. Not once.
Yeah, and Kevin Owens posted a video. His mother-in-law, I guess, had passed away because of COVID. So there was the video that he posted. I recommend it's on his Twitter. Go watch it. Like whether you are in support of masks and social distancing and all of that, but particularly if you're not, go watch that video because that's like a firsthand account of watching somebody who's had their life taken because of this thing. So I know Kevin Owens has taken some time away because of the positive test as well. There's been a couple other people. So yeah, anybody that does that, I'm 100% in support of it. Charlie asks, has anyone seen the recent vignettes EC3 has been putting out? Yes, I posted one, the AEW one, to the Facebook page earlier today. He's like, I don't know where he's ending up. He's hinted, but the vignettes are incredibly done. So I'm interested to see where he actually lands. I think it's only a couple of weeks away now, when the 90-day no competes run out. So looking forward to see where he lands. But then last night on AEW, they announced next week after Fyter Fest, AEW will apparently put on a puppy battle royale. An advertisement aired during last night's episode, which hyped the AEW puppy battle royale will happen for the first time next week. The countdown was shown in the ad, which ended with cute dogs in a wrestling ring. As of right now, I have no idea what this is. I'm intrigued because I love dogs and I love wrestling. But do we have any guesses of exactly? Do we think it is strictly like the Puppy Bowl that airs on Super Bowl Sunday? Do we think it's something along those lines, but like with dogs in like a wrestling ring looking on like a wrestling ring set? Or what do you think that the puppy battle royale is?
They're going to lure you in with some cute puppy action, and then the heel's going to come out and interrupt it. Or I'm not saying they're going to do anything to the puppies because I don't think they're going to kill any puppies or anything crazy like that.
MJF's going to come out and just stop a little chihuahua
puppy
straight on the head.
What the hell? That was Jake Roberts comes out with Lance Archer and a snake just eats a puppy. I don't know. Something bad will happen, but something bad will happen.
MJF will feed the puppy mixed with Chinese food to
Oh no.
What was that dog's name? Pepper.
Pepper.
Like
Was it Al Snow or the Big Show or
Al Snow's dog.
Man?
Oh,
Al Snow's dog.
Charlie says not the Jerry Lawler type of puppies. I would assume not, but then again, they have like bikini clad women at ringside for no reason whatsoever. Which, like, here's the deal. I'm not offended. I'm not angry about, but like, I found that very strange from like the company that is kind of taking this all inclusive, like it just feels like it like the just bikini clad women for no reason. Just seem.
No, it's a knockoff, a ripoff of Fyre Fest, which was going to be held in the Bahamas.
Okay, see, I don't get that. To me,
am I right? Is that I think the reasoning behind it?
I guess. I mean, they've had them at they also had them at the at All Out. I think they had like bikini women like just up on the stage. They've had like, and again, I'm not offended. Like, it feels odd from AEW.
The name is a parody of the fraudulent Fyre Festival that was supposed to take place at the Bahamas. There's a documentary on the Netflix, Jim. You can watch it. Put it in your queue.
Oh, so maybe I should check it out, and I'll be more aware.
More woke.
But like here's the deal, and I'm very intrigued. Like I said, I'm very intrigued by the puppy battle royale. I'll be checking out whatever it is, but like. And I've seen, I saw people because I watched AEW live last night, and then I watched SmackDown NXT after, and I saw people like, oh, this is neat, this is cool, and I'm like here's the deal, and I don't like to be this guy, but I'm gonna be this guy for like 5 seconds. If the WWE,
oh, he loves to be this guy.
if the WWE announced a puppy battle royale, the reaction would be very different than the AEW announcing a puppy battle royale. True or false? In your opinion, the reaction would be very different.
It is true.
I mean, at this point, it's probably going to be similar.
I don't know about that.
I think you're thinking people are so much more forgiving of AEW than they really are at this point. I mean, at this point in AEW's life, I think they're past the point of like, oh, hey, it's different. Like, I think they're being judged on a similar grading curve at this point.
Not sure. I'm not sure. I mean, I think it's the gap is closing. I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that. The gap is closing, but I feel like
people have realized AEW is a sports entertainment program, no different than what you're going to get from the WWE.
100% sports
At the
entertainment.
same time, I do think this is almost expected from AEW. I mean, if it's true, it's one of their pay-per-views that knockoff of a failed fraudulent festival in the Bahamas. Like, it's a joke. It is what it is. I really do believe this will become I don't want to say a storyline, but a launching point for another angle. They're not just going to have puppies in the ring for no reason.
Right.
They want you to think that ain't going to happen. Jake the Snake Roberts going to feed some snakes next week.
But yeah, like
awesome
I said,
Kong just comes out, fucking smashes them. Something's going to happen.
Like I said, either way, I'm watching. You know, I'm fine. Like I enjoy AEW. I think they've been hitting on all cylinders very well.
Oh yeah, the gap's closing. Sure.
especially during the empty arena shows. I think they've done very well with the circumstances laid at them.
Did they announce Fight for the Fallen just for the Jon Moxley thing? Because that's now the 15th. So it was Fighter Fest week
Fighter
1,
Fest
week 2
for the next 2 weeks, yeah.
And the following week is Fight for the Fallen.
Fight for the Fallen, yeah.
On TNT, the same way it would normally. It's in place of their Dynamite.
Yeah, Fighter Fest, I believe, if I remember correctly from last year, Fighter Fest was in June, because Double or Nothing was May, and then you had Fighter Fest was free in June, and then Fight for the Fallen was also free in July, and it was you could donate, and they went to charity, which I think they're doing again.
They are correct. It was July 13th last year. So okay.
So I think like this year, I think they're doing it for COVID relief.
Gotcha.
And then All Out was in August. So obviously they things got jacked up this year because of the pandemic. So they did Fighter Fest, and somebody today, and I think it might have even been our friend Frank, said that like WWE will probably launch like NXT off Slamboree on the 15th just to counter, which I'm here again. I'm here for it, like, because people are like, oh, WWE just did the Great American Bash to counter Fighter Fest. Yes, that's exactly what they did.
They put on a better show. Competition makes better programming.
Right, exactly. They saw one side has a free pay-per-view, so I'm going to give you a free pay-per-view. Fighter Fest is 2 weeks. You know what? I think we're just going to do Great American Bash for 2 weeks. How about we do that? So I would not be shocked if they come out at some point this week and announce that the 15th, maybe not because it's the charity show, so maybe they won't, but I wouldn't be shocked either if they came out with Slamboree or whatever, but I know like Seth Rollins this week was like, I want him to bring back Halloween Havoc in October. Like, why not? Let's have fun. Let's have a little fun. You own all of these names. Use them.
Do it.
Like, here's the thing: SummerSlam, do a show on the beach. You don't even you don't have to have fans there, but make it SummerSlam Bash at the beach, because we're just throwing taglines on pay-per-views anyway. Extreme Rules Horror Show, SummerSlam Bash at the beach. Why not? Like, let's get a little creative here and put the ring out on a fucking beach. Make it something a little bit different, maybe.
Just do it.
Charlie says, if Tony Schiavone doesn't say quote puppies JR, then I'm 100% done with AEW. he gets a Kobe taker if I can get my fucking mouse over to that screen.
Kobe.
Cody owns Bash at the Beach. That's right. Well, then call it the SummerSlam Beach Bash and give Cody the middle finger. I loved Cody's shirt last night, by the way, which was a play on the original Great American Bash logo. I want that shirt to be up on Pro Wrestling Tees as well. So, but yeah, like I love the competition. I love the back and forth stuff. I want more of it. Like that. This is what we signed up for. When you put the both shows on Wednesday night, this is what we wanted. This is what we signed up for. And if both companies are going to be better because of it, then why not?
I want all of it.
Do either of you guys have anything to add? Otherwise, we're going to close this out.
I do want to add, I really enjoyed night one of Fyter Fest. I thought we saw Penelope Ford's best match.
That match was fantastic.
Since she has signed with AEW, maybe not her best match on the Indies, but absolutely fantastic match. I thought her and Sheeta clicked really well. It was a really good match. Man, I don't think I didn't enjoy any part of Fyter Fest. I'm about halfway through Great American Bash.
Both shows.
Got switched up with work a little bit, but yeah, really enjoyed it. I thought the tag match to end Fyter Fest was really solid too. Maybe the best friends, the best match we've seen on AEW. So everybody brought it. I just can't wait till we start seeing these and the fans can again get out of COVID. We're gonna get past this, but have fans like appreciating what they're seeing in the ring. And I hope fans aren't, I don't know, fucking douchebags about it. When they come back. I really do. Let's not be douchebags now. Let's wear masks, social distance, so we can get to that point.
Hashtag don't be a douchebag. The only thing I didn't watch from last night yet was the main event to NXT, the Sasha and Io match, because I was like starting to fade, like I was getting that moment where like the eyes were getting a little heavy, and I'm like, from all accounts, this match was spectacular, so I don't want to like miss it. So that I need to catch up on. Otherwise, the rest of the show, both shows were really good. Matt, do you have anything else to add?
Nope. A couple more 3 Count Thursday Mad Libs are up on the YouTube page. Go ahead, check them out. There will be another one tomorrow at 5:00 p.m. Friend of the show, Samira, is going to be taking on Mad Libs.
Our old friend Samira, huh?
I have a couple scheduled for next week, including friend of the show, Brittany, from down in going to be joining us next.
We need to have her on the show now, like.
Yeah, we'll set that up.
Yeah, right over this way somewhere, or
maybe
depends where I'm at.
Let's and we'll talk business on air here, but not next week, but maybe the following when we preview Extreme Rules, the horror show, because she has always been part of our
she has
pay-per-view prediction shows. So Matt,
everything I'll mention it when we record. So we've kind of taken a pause on the interviews, replacing them with the Mad Libs for now. Just a quick, easy way. It's a fun thing that we can do for you guys, mainly because the interviews, we try to like plug wrestlers' upcoming events. There's none of that really going on right now, unfortunately. So anything we can do to bring content to you, it's a quick, easy thing. So this week it was Trish Adora and Rebel Kell, and like I said, Samira tomorrow. So and all of the 3 Count Thursday Mad Libs are saved on a playlist on our YouTube page. So youtube.com/3 Count Thursday. Check those out. Give everyone that we have had on the show a follow. You can follow me on Twitter. It's at 3CT, the letter A. Philly as in Philadelphia, the number 8, so 3CT affiliate. And as I said on Sunday through the Undertaker show, we have been taking kind of a pause on our Instagram in terms of the Woman of the Week. A lot going on in the wrestling world and just in general. So we're just taking some time, let everyone just focus on what's important for now. But on Sunday, we will be back with a new Woman of the Week. Start off the quarter 3 of 2020. Let's hope it's the best quarter of this shitty year so far.
I was gonna say, like, I mean, it's the bar hasn't been set very high to beat it. I was really bummed out Tim didn't join us this week, because one of the other clips I added to the board was,
I don't think so, Tim.
And I'm really bummed out that I didn't get to use it this week. But there's always time for that. But yeah, I'm glad I could pop you guys with
Thing sucks. Do it live.
which we always do here. Ryan, this way. Wait, where are you? This way. The cameras are all backwards. Ryan, let people know. Matt's down here. Ryan's over here, and I keep losing my hand. Let people know where they can follow you if they want.
It's RYN and then the word Eagle, RYNEAGLE. Apparently that's only on Twitter, not on Instagram. Thanks for the heads up on that, Matt. I don't know. You can follow me, whatever you want. I don't give a shit. I'm just tweeting out. I work in the public. I see a lot of douchebags without masks on. I judge you when you walk around without your mask on. I don't know who you're trying to impress, but it's not impressing me. I assume you have a very small penis. If you want to not wear a mask, or you have some sort of, I don't know. I judge you. Know that I judge you. Know that I think you're being a douchebag. And you can do your part by just wearing a mask. It's not a hard thing. Hashtag don't be a douchebag. So every day I'm tweeting about wearing a mask. That's all I tweet about right now because
Hashtag wear the fucking mask.
hashtag wear the fucking mask. I think wear a damn mask is like trending on Twitter. So I think that's the hashtag that I went with on the Twitters. But it's not hard. Just let's try not to be douchebag. Let's help each other out a little bit. And
not wearing a mask is the wrong frame of mind.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it is.
But like, here's the thing.
You're wrong.
Like, let's just imagine like a year from now, when hopefully this fucking pandemic is over, and we can go back and we can study it and we can figure out exactly things that were right, things that were wrong, things that didn't do anything. Let's imagine a year from now, we can figure out, guys, maybe masks didn't help at all, even though they've been proven that it helps not spread the thing. Let's just pretend that the masks don't do anything. At worst, you have to put a mask on your face. At worst, you just wear a mask.
It's not even a big ask.
That's it. And here's the thing. You can find them for your favorite movie, your favorite sports team, your favorite wrestler, your favorite pattern. Like, I have a green and white plaid one. I have a Dallas Cowboys one. I have a Washington Capitals one. And I have wrestling ones. And I have some with like this weird gray silver pattern. I don't know what the pattern is, but it looks cool. You know why I bought it? Because it fits my fat fucking head. Okay?
Giant.
Like, at worst, all I have to do is my mask might not match my clothes. Big fucking deal. At best, I'm gonna keep somebody from getting a deadly fucking disease, and myself as well. So like, it's not hard to do that part. And I'm not sure. How is it political? And I'm gonna wrap up real quick. How is it political? You're helping somebody. It's the literal least thing you can do to help somebody.
The least.
That's it.
The absolute least.
The very least. They're not asking you to donate $1 million. They're not asking you to go out and buy food and clothes and donate them. They're asking you to get a piece of cloth and put it over your face. Literally, that's it. That's it. It's that simple. Wear the mask. That's it. I mean,
you all are ugly enough without them. Put your fucking masks on.
Right. You know, like, that's all it is. Nikki, Charlie, Tim, everybody that joined us here tonight. Devin, I know, was on a little bit earlier. Thank you all for joining.
Ryan's frozen.
We hope that you see, he's changing his name. We hope that you subscribe to all of our social media, 3 Count Thursday, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Also, make sure you subscribe to our show, both the full show and the 3 Count Thursday hot tags on all podcast platforms. Rate and review on Apple Podcasts. Make sure you go to 3countthursday.com and check out everything 3 Count related merchandise, our home network, and all of that. And until next week.
Did someone say merchandise?
Oh, yeah, somebody did say
merchandising
over at whatamaneuver.net, our collar and elbow brand deal, and much, much more. Until next week, guys, we sincerely hope you stay safe. We sincerely hope you wear the mask. And remember to always go for the pin.